Today we are building the ultimate October fishing tackle box, but there's a catch. First, I will shop for my top 5 baits for this time of year. Then I will take them to the lake and try and catch a 5 bass limit that weighs over 17 pounds in under 5 hours. But if I can't do it, I have to give away this entire tackle box to one of you. So stick around to see if I can pull it off, or you just might be the one taking it home. We are back with another episode of the Baits of the Month challenge, and I'm very excited to get this one started because fall is here and the big fish should be biting. But first, we have to pick a giveaway winner for last month's episode because we failed to meet the total weight, and August never claimed their tackle box either, so we're actually going to be picking 2 giveaway winners today. So the first one for the August Baits Challenge is going to be Steven Rudder Fishing. He said that he absolutely enjoys the content in the videos. He's a big fan of underspin jig heads with a fluke or a paddle tail trailer. I love fishing those baits as well. They might actually be making an appearance in an episode very soon. And then for September, we have Mark Plowman. He said, awesome video and thank you for taking us along. In these videos, I'm trying to do more than just tell you guys exactly what baits to buy and sell you product. I'm trying to show you these things in action, how to use them, where to use them, how to break down the water, so that if you guys do purchase these baits, you can go have success on your local bodies of water as well. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos as much as I am. If you are one of those 2 winners, please reach out to me on Instagram or send me an email. We'll verify all your information is correct and we'll get that box sent out to you. But for now, we got to get into the 5 baits of the month for this month so that we can go see if we can start catching some big bass. Now again, we did some online shopping through Tackle Warehouse for this one as well because it gives you the best selection and allows you to try some new and different lures that you might not use as often or see as often in the stores. So we have our Plano box right here ready to go, and we are ready to fill this thing up. Now the first lure that I'm going to pick for fall bass fishing, especially in October, it's going to be the River to Sea Whopper Plopper, the 110 version specifically, and I really like the bone color. It just mimics any type of bait fish these fish could be feeding on. It stands out in the water, they can find it, it makes a lot of noise, and it's just a great bait in the fall to cover a lot of water and catch these fish. Now the weatherman did say that today was supposed to be overcast all day and calm winds, and I don't think he could be more wrong. So I don't know how well this is going to play today, but if there's one time a year that you could throw a topwater all day and never have to put it down, it's in the fall time. Specifically, once that water temperature usually reaches the 65-degree range. Today it's going to be 72 is our water temperature. As I've mentioned before, I have to make these videos before the actual month hits, and I want the baits to be something that you guys can use the entire month, not just like the first week. So while I might not have a ton of success on this bait today, we'll show you how and where to use it and maybe catch a couple, and this bait is only going to get better as the time of year goes on here. So we're going to drop this guy right into our tackle box. We're just going to put him in this open slot right here because we're probably going to tie him on first thing. Even though we're a little late in the day, they still might bite that top water. Now the second bait we have is another reaction bait, and this is going to allow me to cover some of those deeper fish. In fall, specifically October, when those fish get that 70 to 60-degree water temperature, they scatter out a lot. You can catch fish up there in 1 foot of water, and you can catch them out in like 30 foot of water. So I like to have a variety of different baits to make sure I can cover top to bottom, no matter where they could be that given day. So we have a crankbait. Again, this is a bait that gets really good in that 60-degree water temperature range. It might not excel for us today, but we'll give it a shot. This is the 5XD from Strike King, and I got it in a chartreuse perch color. Pick your favorite color for your body of water. I picked chartreuse perch because the lake we're fishing on today, there's a ton of perch in this lake. And in the fall, bass love to eat perch if you live in the Northeast. It's like one of their favorite foods. They'll literally chase the perch around and try and eat as many of them as they can. They're high in protein, they're a big meal, and they can get a ton of them in before the fall to fatten up for winter. Maybe not an ideal bait for today's conditions, but it's something that will proceed to get better throughout the month of October. We're gonna throw that one also right down in the open slot as well. They'll probably get tangled together for a brief second, but we wanna leave the other slots open for some of our other lures here that we're about to put in. Now the next bait that I have, this one's gonna be my mid-range bait, and it's actually 3 different pieces of tackle here. We're gonna go through each of them. This is for if your lake has a lot of grass. Now I've mentioned I live in the Northeast, and you often see people on like Gunnersville and some of those southern lakes that mat up with hydrilla. they punch mats in the fall and they catch big bass in these big canopies with heavy weights and everything like that. We do not quite get that up here in the Northeast, but we have something very similar, and we're going to show you that you can do the same technique up here in the Northeast. You just modify it slightly. You're going to flip deep grass edges. They're going to be in 6, 8, even 10 foot of water. It's super thick milfoil, cabbage, stuff like that, and these fish will get in there and hug in there like a blanket. As those temperatures get colder every night, the bait fish will go to the grass to feed on the last remaining pieces of grass that are in there and any of the bugs that are in there. The largemouth will follow them, and as it gets colder, they don't like the cold weather, they're gonna hug in that grass tightly, so you drop bombs on them and catch big ones. So what we like to do up here in the Northeast, we lighten up our weight size a little bit. Instead of like an ounce, ounce and a half, a 3/4 or even a ½ ounce is plenty. This is the Mustad Titan X flipping weight. We're gonna go ahead and just throw that in our open slot too. Whenever we go to tie that on, we'll just cut it out, put it right on our rod. And we do like a big hook up here. So this is the heavy cover flipping hook from Gamakatsu. These are in a 5/0 size and they have super heavy wire. We're gonna be fishing this on braid. We're gonna set the hook hard on fish. We're gonna be doing some old school flipping and pitching on these bass. So we want a heavy hook that's not gonna bend out when we set the hook on a big fish and have to get them out of the grass. So we're gonna throw that right down in there as well. So right now, pretty much all of that is taken up, which means we have room for our soft plastics on this side over here. So starting with our first soft plastic that's going to go on that rig right there. One of my favorite baits of all time, the Reaction Innovation Sweet Beaver. 4.2 size, and I got the green goby color. I just wanted to try something different. And again, we have a lot of perch and bluegill and stuff like that in this lake. So this has a lot of green pumpkin and copper and gold flake in it. So it kind of looks like a bluegillish perch color. It's got the orange tones, it's got the gold tones, and it's green pumpkin. So it figured it'd probably be a great color up here, but pick your favorite color again, whatever matches your watercolor and what those fish like to eat. We got a nice bag of these guys right here, and I'm ready to flip these things into some deep grass and catch some big old fish. So we'll drop these right down in one of our top compartments here. This is gonna pair up perfectly on our flipping rig, but you could do other things with these baits as well. I've caught so many fish on the Sweet Beaver over the years, so it's pretty versatile bait to basically catch fish however you want, but it's one of the best flipping and pitching baits. And then we have 2 more baits left, and these, one's gonna be for those offshore fish, and one's gonna be for the shallow fish, depending upon where they're at in the water and how lethargic they are. These are gonna be for those tough biting fish. The first one, for our offshore fish, we have a Ned rig. Can't beat a Ned rig in October, whether you're fishing rivers, whether you're fishing lakes, no matter where you're at, when those fish are offshore on rock piles, grass edges, anything that's like a cover or a structure-oriented spot where you can drag that thing really slowly in front of those fish and you know there should be a fish in that area, the Ned rig is perfect. So we went with the Game Changer color from Z-Man here on the TRD. I've talked about this color before, but it's like a clear gold, and it has a bunch of glitter in it. It really imitates emerald shiners and other small minnows that those fish are feeding on. So knowing that they're feeding on bait fish, we want something that's going to mimic bait fish. And then the Owner blockhead, 3/16 ounce. I want it to get down there deep. We're gonna be fishing some deeper water here today if those fish are offshore, but these come in a variety of sizes to match the depth of water that you're going to be fishing. Now this is the same hook that I actually put in my own Ned rig heads that I pour myself. I don't have them for sale right now, but if you'd like to see them for sale, I could potentially put them out on the market. I put them in a few different sizes other than the ones that these ones come in, but this hook is great for sticking these fish and making sure they do not come off all the way back to the boat. So we are going to drop this one in again, right in with our little hooks and everything. That's gonna be a little bit of a mess, but we'll worry about that as the day goes on. And then we're going to take our Game Changer Ned rigs here, or TRDs. That doesn't become a Ned rig till you actually put it on the jig head. You can do other things with the TRD too. I've drop shotted them before, it works great. You can use them as a jig trailer, it even also works great. The one thing you don't want to do is mix them with your other soft plastics. So they're gonna get their own slot so that they don't melt everything else. And we are on to our final bait, which is also one of the baits that gets most commented on my video besides the Whopper Plopper. And it's a Yamamoto Senko, 5-inch green pumpkin black flake. This is going to be our wacky rig for the day. We're going to put this thing on a wacky rig, show you a special way to fish it up here shallow when there's all this grass in the water. There's a little trick that you can do, especially if your lake has docks. It's gonna help you catch a ton of fish on a wacky rig. When they get up really shallow like this, I've had very good days doing this technique. We'll show you with this guy here today. So we have a bunch of green pumpkin black flake Senkos that we're going to drop right down in our compartment here. and we have a finished tackle box all ready to go, ready to get out there and catch some fish. I think we're gonna start up shallow first and see if those fish are there, and then if we're not catching anything or we only get a small limit and we need some upgrades, we might start moving out deeper. The fish have spent their summer out offshore. They're gonna start making their way shallow. I just don't know if they've done it yet, and that's a telltale sign. You actually start shallow first, and if all you're catching is 1 and 2 pounders and your lake is known for 3, 4s, and 5s, they haven't made it up there yet. So then you can back out and go back out offshore and start catching fish there. Once you start catching those bigger ones, you know the right area you need to be in, and then you can stay in that zone the rest of the day and track them as they make their transition. So let's start shallow, show you some of these little tips and tricks, how to catch some of these fish, and hopefully we can get that 17-pound limit today. And before we get to fishing with today's baits, if you could head down below and hit the subscribe button. Only 14% of you that watch the channel are actually subscribed, and I'm trying to reach that 100,000 subscriber mark by the end of the year. So if you could help me out with that goal, that would be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get our baits tied on to our first spot and see if we can catch our 17 pounds. All right, so we're ready to get today's challenge started. Hopefully we can actually catch some big fish today. We have our 5 hours on the timer, and we have our scale all zeroed out and ready to go. Go ahead and get this challenge started and see what we can find. We might be able to get a mix of smallmouth and largemouth today. I think that would be really cool. So the first bait we're gonna start off with for the day is actually gonna be the wacky rig. I know it's not really a search bait or anything like that, but this lake is full of docks, got a lot of grass right now, and one pattern that I really know excels this time of year is fishing around these docks once these fish get up shallow. And the wacky rig just always catches fish, so I'd like to get a couple fish on the board early. That way we can do some culling later if we need to get up to that 17-pound mark. Like I was talking about, I want to start shallow so I can see if these fish have made it up here yet. If we don't catch any big ones up here and we just get 10 pounds, not only do we get 10 pounds to start, but then we know that we can go look for some bigger fish later in the day or offshore a little bit more. Just our 5-inch Senko, wacky rigged with a VMC Finesse Nico hook, weedless. This is the size 1, not the 1/0, and then I have a 6mm crossover ring on here. It's going to be perfect for these techniques. This is a prime example of what we're going to be doing on this very first dock right here. There is a ton of grass all around the dock, like super thick grass, but these pontoon boats are floating canopies. So when you hear people talk about fishing holes in the grass, a lot of times they're looking for them offshore where there might be like a hard spot or something like that. But where these boats sit all summer long, the grass never grows because it can't grow in the shade up there. So what I do is I take my wacky rig and I make a better cast than that, but you throw it as far as you can up underneath these pontoon boats. Oh gosh, we're gonna need some practice this morning. But what you do is you throw it as far underneath those pontoon boats as you can. You skip it way, way up underneath there, and there's no grass directly underneath. The bait will hang out under there. It's shady when it's super sunny like this. And oftentimes you'll get some very big bass that hang out up underneath those pieces of cover like that. Unfortunately, I ruined this one, but there's plenty more where that came from, so hopefully we'll go find some other docks that have some fish. Got that back. Hopefully our casting gets much better throughout the day because that was rough. And while the pontoon boats are my main focus because those block the most amount of shade, even a large dock like this, a lot of times they'll pull docks out of the water in the fall too. And as they're taking them out of the water, when there was 100, oh gosh, I thought I had one. This is not going well for me this morning. As they take the docks out of the water, where there used to be 100 docks on a stretch and now there's 25, gives that fish much limited area to actually live then because they still want to be in the shade. So those 25 are much more productive than the 100 were before because all those fish have condensed down into those leftover docks. So let's get another wacky rig back on because we broke off on our second cast. Haven't even touched the water yet. All right, now we're back in business and hopefully we're not gonna snag anymore. I'm sure we're gonna get snagged because it's fishing boat docks, but hopefully it's not in like the next 30 seconds. We can actually fish a couple of these and see if there's some fish up here. This pontoon right here looks like the prime area to actually get one. It is in the water, it's super shaded, there's a bunch of stuff all around it. This one I wanna get a good cast underneath, and that's not it. Let's bring that back in. My casting needs some work big time. Nope, now the fish know I'm here. There we go, way up under there. That is the key. and then you just let it sit. Granted, there might not be a fish in there, but that is probably the most prime area, and I'm gonna take my time on these areas. Usually when you fish boat docks, it's a pretty slow and tedious process. In the fall, not so much for me. I'm gonna pick the highest shaded areas. That's where the least amount of grass is gonna be. That's where the best fish are gonna be. So I will take my time in places like this. I might even take 2 or 3 casts under an area here, kind of fish all around the area. The rest of the docks that just look like little spindly metal wires in the water, keep moving. There's probably not gonna be fish around those ones. There might be. I'll literally throw casts under it as I'm moving around, but I don't take a whole lot of time and fish that area. But like this little section right here, this is money. This is the type of area you want to be in. But fall is also the time of year, especially boat dock fishing, that you can literally catch like 6 fish underneath one dock. They'll just get all loaded up on it because they don't have anywhere else to go. There we go. Got one finally on the docks. Not a big one, but it's going to be our first. Come here, buddy. I think he's 12 inches. We're going to check him. Not a keeper. 11.5 inches. We're gonna throw him back. We'll see if we can get some more, but not a good sign for the dock bite. When the dock bite's really on, you won't catch a ton. You might catch 10 fish in a day, but usually if you set the hook, it's gonna be a 3-pounder or bigger. You don't usually catch many of the little ones if you're on a very good dock bite in the fall. But that was just the first one, so you never know. We're gonna keep fishing and see what happens. There could be 5 others under there with him and they could all be bigger. I actually think I have another bite. Oh, I did have another bite. See, for whatever reason, they like this one. As they continue to take docks out of the water, more fish will shuffle to this one. You can mark these really good docks and keep coming back to them over and over and over again as fall goes on. We also have some marina docks coming up here, which I think are going to be fantastic. Usually these hold a ton of fish, especially this time of year, because a lot of people leave all their boats right here. There's a ton of shade for them to hang around. There's a ton of bait fish for them to be around. And it's just probably one of the best pieces of cover that stay in the water the longest. Let's run down through all these pontoons, see if there's any fish in this. And if not, we might have to start adjusting our game plan for the day. They might not have made it up shallow here yet, especially with the water temperature being 72. There's a chance that they're not out here yet. Never mind, we got one. It's a giant. It's a big smallmouth, oh my gosh. Oh gosh. I was just about to say we need to move and we hook a gigantic smallmouth. Huge smallmouth. Oh, that was sweet, that was cool. That's a good start for the day. That one's definitely a keeper. He's not as big as I thought he was. He looked way bigger because he was like dark black out there in the water, but that is a nice fish right there. You can see how good this hook gets him too. I love these VMC Finesse Nico hooks, or weedless Nico hooks. That fish was not coming off. I could have played that fish all day, never coming off. And 2 fish so far on that Yamamoto Senko with that ring has not come off as well. 264, that's a good start. Probably gonna have to get rid of that even to get 17 pounds, but that is a good start right there. 264 smallmouth, nice one. We're gonna go ahead and let her go and see if we can catch some more. We'll see if any of these pontoons up here have some fish though too. We'll say, was not expecting smallmouth. I was expecting to get some big largemouth doing this. Usually you can catch like a random 4 or 5 pounder underneath these pontoons in the fall, and that was gonna be a good kicker fish to help towards our 17-pound bag. I had perfect casts underneath every single one of those pontoon boats, and we did not get another bite. So I don't know if that smallmouth was just a fluke or what the deal was. I think what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna tie on this whopper plopper. There's a big point that sticks out right here of grass. I'll fish around it and we'll hit the docks on the other side, and then start thinking about if we want to switch up our strategy for the day. But for now, let's grab our whopper plopper and then give that a few throws. We got our plopper on. We're gonna make our way around this point and see what happens. No bites on the plopper over that point, so we're gonna grab the wacky rig again. We're gonna fish this short little stretch of docks. There's a couple in here that look pretty good. We're gonna see if we get any bites. If we don't, I think we're gonna start changing up our game plan a little bit and maybe sliding out a little bit deeper. I don't think they've made their way shallow yet. There we go. Largemouth this time. Come here, buddy. Oh, he had one chasing him. We'll see if we can get him next, because he was another nice one. I think this is gonna be our second keeper. Let's check him. It's a 12-incher. 1 pound even. Not a giant, but we gotta get something to get started. So we have 3.63 pounds. Little guy right there. Let's throw him back. No. I had one and he got me stuck up there. Oh. He took my worm. What? Let's go a little bit deeper and see if we can find some fish out there. Part of me wants to hit these couple docks over here, but I don't want to get stuck in the trap of just fishing the same thing the whole time. So we made us a little move up the lake and we are in probably 6 to 10 foot of water. We just slid out just a little bit further. But what we're gonna rig up is our flipping bait that we were talking about. Basically, we're gonna punch heavy grass, but it's gonna be in deeper water. And you'll see the tops of the grass, but it doesn't actually come up and mat on the surface. And to rig one of these up on these straight shank hooks, you go down through the center, you pop it out the belly straight, you run it all the way up, but keep it upside down and go over the keeper, and then flip it around and pull it back into the keeper, and that's gonna lock it into place. I'll take my hook, just bury it below the skin so it's still weedless, but just poking through, break the tails apart, and that right there is a big bass killer. Grass edge ends right there. So we're just going to ride this grass edge all the way down through here and flip our big weight. So where I'm sitting right now, there is no grass. There's a tiny bit of it, and then right up there it is super thick. It's mostly cabbage, but if we run into a patch of milfoil, there is a chance that there'll be some fish loaded up in that. Like I can see stalks of grass. I don't know how well you can see this, but that stalk of grass is all the way up to the top of the water right there, just below. It's like a foot below the surface. And that's where those fish are gonna be. They're right on the edge. The bait's gonna run the edge of this, and they're just gonna hang out here. And all I do is flip it, let it fall all the way to the bottom on slack line. When it hits the bottom, hop it, and if I don't have anything, I'm bringing it back in and I'm flipping again. Just make a lot of flips and that's gonna give you your best chance. And when you catch one, take note of where that area is, because there will be more right in that general vicinity. There could be a rock pile there could be a shell bar, a stump. You never know what is down there on the bottom underneath all this grass. And this is what they're living in down there. Very green, cabbagey, pondweed grass. If you find the milfoil mixed in with it, that's a bonus. There we go, got one. Nice. You could see when you hop that thing and they grab it, you rip their face off. You got to get that hook all the way through their mouth, into the jawbone, through the bait, through the grass, and you want them coming up to the surface as quickly as possible, because that is going to give you your best chance at getting that fish in the boat. If they wrap you up in that grass way down deep down there, you will lose them. Just like if you're punching mats and stuff like that, you can't get them wrapped up. As soon as you do, you're done. That's a little bit bigger than the ones you were catching on the dock, largemouth wise. 153. Puts us at 516 for 3 fish. We got a lot of work to do, but throw him back, see what we can do. Oh, I missed that one. He took my whole beaver. The only downfall with using these flipping hooks is that it destroys your bait when you set the hook. If you catch a fish, your bait's pretty much done. You almost have to put a new one on after every single fish. It sucks, but it is the only way to get it through this grass. If you do not have this hook, you're fighting this grass all day long trying to get it in and out. I've tried doing it with like an EWG before and stuff like that. It is the most painful day of fishing ever. All you do is get wrapped up, you're picking weeds off your bait, and it takes forever. And it is the slowest, longest day of fishing. But if you fish a straight shank hook, I mean, it literally comes through every single time. It's always coming back to the boat, and I'm just rapidly flipping. I can make a lot of casts. Got that one. That's a better one. There we go. 1.85. Puts us at 7.01 pounds. So now we just need to catch a Pennsylvania 10-pounder and we're good. One thing you can do while you're flipping this deeper grass to try and increase your chances of catching a fish, I either look for little holes or irregularities, because I can see all the grass in front of me right here, or I'll look for some type of a higher spot. Like right here, I have a big clump that sticks up all the way to the surface, so that's probably a thicker clump than everything else. or I'll look for a little point in it or where it gets denser or something like that. You can pick out little irregularities within it. Okay, so we hit the end of that grass line and we caught 2 decent ones. I think we're gonna go try and run another grass line that looks like that and see if we can find our 5th fish. And then from there, we might actually go offshore here and start catching some more, hopefully. One thing, if you do notice, I know we did catch the big smallmouth up shallow that was kind of a fluke, but all of the largemouth we caught up shallow were like 1-pounders. As soon as we got out a little bit deeper, 1.5 pound, 2-pounders. If we get out even deeper, they probably should get even bigger. That's kind of the clue of where those fish are at in their progression in the fall. If you start moving out deeper and the fish get bigger, they're still probably out further than you think. Got that one. That's a good one. That's a fat one there. My gosh. Chunky belly, probably full of bluegills. 241 puts us at 942 for 5 fish. Now we can do some culling. We'll let her go. See you, girl. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so we've done quite a lot of flipping with no other bites, but we did get our limit, which was our goal. So now we can move on to trying some different stuff to see if we can get some bigger fish. What we're gonna do is we're gonna tie on the crankbait and the Ned rig, and we're gonna get out here offshore and try and find some like rock piles, isolated grass clumps, stuff that these fish could live on out here. We could go up and fish docks again, but we were only catching 2-pounders with the occasional 3 up there with that smallmouth. And we need 4s if we're gonna do anything here. So given that we haven't caught one yet, I'm assuming they're still offshore, which means we're gonna put on our offshore baits and go check out there. I think we have 2.5 hours left. So we got a little bit more work to do, but we have some time to do it. So let's get rigged up and get out there. So we're gonna go ahead and tie on this crankbait here. Nothing special, you literally just tie it on and you're good to go. This is gonna be great for fishing any of those offshore rock piles, hard spots, the grass edges even. You can even fish it in rivers in different little current breaks and stuff and get these fish to react while they're chasing bait fish and trying to feed up for the fall. This is what I more likely think is going to pull through here shortly, and that's gonna be the Ned rig. I think the Ned rig offshore on some hard spots, some grass edge fish, basically anywhere you throw a drop shot in the summertime, this thing dragging on the bottom out there looking like a little minnow. It gives us a shot at both smallmouth and largemouth, and hopefully we can run into some big ones that are still out there and haven't made their way up shallow yet. We do have 2 over 2.5 pounds, which are good ones. Then we have 3 at 1 pound. Those are the ones we gotta get rid of. And we probably gotta swap them out for like 4-pounders if we want a shot at 17 pounds. But first, we gotta get our little Ned rig and we're gonna get out there and look around and see what we can find. So my goal out here is I'm looking for any little irregularity, just like we would when we're flipping, to see if there's anything that these fish could relate to that's out just a little bit deeper in some cooler water. With the water temperature pushing up to 74 right now, I think these fish are gonna wanna still be offshore, even though they should start pushing shallow here soon. This is a prime example. Oh, I lost it. It fell off right there. There is a clump of grass out here in 20 foot of water, 15 foot of water, and there is nothing around it for hundreds of yards. So it's really the only thing these fish have to live next to out here. It's just some little subtle irregularity that these fish can find and sit on until it's time for them to make their transition up shallow and start eating bait fish and everything up there. If this doesn't work and we fish a bunch of these spots and don't really catch anything, then we'll just make our way up shallow again and go fish some docks and throw some more pontoons. But for right now, I want to give this a little bit of a shot to see if there's any fish hanging around out here. And then my goal when I find these little offshore irregularities, I want my bait to sink all the way down to the bottom. And then I just want to drag it as slow as I can to try and entice these fish into biting. Got one. Got one. Oh my gosh. It's a giant. It's a giant. It's a giant one. It's gigantic. That's the one we needed. Now we need a couple more like it. That's a big one. It's a largemouth too. I was expecting a smallmouth. Oh, don't come off. This is why I love these Ned rig hooks. They keep them on the whole way back to the boat. Oh my gosh, look at that largemouth. On a Ned rig in 15 foot of water. They're definitely not shallow. They are still out here, because if the largemouth are out here, the smallmouth are definitely still out here. That's a big one. We'll see how much she goes. She's gonna call out that 1 pounder, and that's gonna help us out a ton. 392. Puts us to 12.35 pounds. It called that 1 pounder. We still got some work to do, but if we can keep catching fish like that, then we should be able to get this 17-pound challenge done. We're gonna let her go, and we're gonna get back to it. Keep on looking for those irregularities. They were on one little tiny stalk of grass down there. That was it. There's a whole grass flat up there, and in a couple weeks, that fish will be sitting right up in there. You can catch it on top water, you can catch it on all kinds of stuff. But for right now, these fish are still out here. Got one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's another giant. It's another giant, and this one's a smallmouth. That's a smallmouth, and it's giant. That is an enormous smallmouth. That is an enormous smallmouth. Oh gosh, don't come off. Don't come off. Let's go. Let's go. Look at that one. That is a fish there. Look at that thing. Oh my gosh, on the Ned rig. That thing's huge. That's gonna be quite the upgrade, I have a feeling. This might be the first one we're gonna have a chance at knocking out the fish 17 pounds. And it's the biggest bag limit so far, but this is what I love about fall fishing. 427 calls out a 153 and puts us at 15.09 pounds. We still have to catch another 4 pounder to have a shot at this, but we have time, and that's a beauty right there. We're gonna get her back in the water, and we'll get right back in there. The big ones want the Ned. It seems fitting with how calm and sunny it is today, and the water's still warm. These fish really just haven't made it up shallow yet. They're still out here chasing bait. The bait fish is still out here, and until everything starts to make its way shallow, they're not gonna go up there. They're gonna stay out here. But again, you can tell like what I mean by use your clues. Like we fished docks, we caught 12 inchers. I knew that wasn't really it, so we kind of slid out a little bit, and we started flipping grass. As soon as we started flipping grass, the fish got a little bit bigger. So even though they weren't the right size still, I could tell the fish wanted to be out a little bit further than I was already fishing. So then I moved out just a little bit further with the Ned rig. Pretty much immediately, we have upgraded to the size quality that we need big time. Got one. Another one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's another enormous smallmouth. Oh my gosh. I am smoking them right now. This is insane. This is insane. Gotcha. Not bigger than the last one, but that is a big fish. Look at that thing. On the netty again. Look at that. Right in the corner of her mouth. Little Ned rig. 3/16 ounce weight out here in 15 to 20 foot of water. Catching fish like that. You just slowly let it fall all the way down to the bottom. Drag it nice and slow over these little rock piles and little isolated grass clumps. They can't resist it. Let's see if we just did it. Did we finally get our limit for once? 379 calls out the 185, and we have 17.04 pounds. We did it. 17 pounds of fish. But we're not done yet. We still have an hour and a half left to go, and we're gonna see how much we can break 17 pounds. We're gonna let her go real quick and get back to it. So our smallest fish is a 264 and a 241. One of the 241s came up in the grass, and the 264 came out underneath the dock. We have two smallmouth, one largemouth for the big ones out here. We are going to get back there, keep fishing on this grass edge. Again, use the clues. All of a sudden we catch 3 fish in a 100-yard stretch, and they're all 4 pounders. Stay out in that area. They're in 15 to 20 foot of water. That's where they want to be. It's glass calm. The water's clear. These fish want to move out here and stay out deeper. Until that water starts to get colder and those fish start to push shallow, they're not gonna wanna stay up there. They might go up there in the morning, you can catch them on a whopper plopper, stuff like that, but when that water temperature is 74 degrees, they're still out here because that water down there is probably 68. That's what they want to be, and so until the shallow stuff becomes 68, 65, they're gonna stay out here, then all of a sudden they'll move up there. Also, don't click off the video yet. There is still going to be a giveaway. I've talked about it in my other ones. I never actually beat the challenge to actually give it away, but I do a giveaway on these videos no matter if I hit the goal or not. So stick around to find out how you can win that tackle box too. But for now, we got an hour and a half to get back in there. Let's see if we could break 20 pounds. We still need to catch 2 more 4-pounders to make that happen, but let's see if we can do it. No way. No way. I got another one. It's another Magnum smallmouth. What is happening? What is happening? That one's not as big as the other 3, but I would still take her. Beautiful smallmouth, blind in one eye, but awesome smallmouth, catching them out deep like this. It's crazy. Ooh, I'm having so much fun. I love it when a plan comes together. There wasn't really a plan, but I love it when you just start figuring them out, get them all dialed in like this. Barely an upgrade, but 302, calls out a 241, puts us at 1765. Not a bad one. See you, buddy. Got him. Got him. Yes. We tricked one. A whole school of them down there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. A whole massive school of them down there, and they kept chasing my bait and not biting it. And I finally just let it lay there. Just dead sticked it. It's so calm out here. These fish don't even want to do anything. I just let it lay there and I felt it go tick, and he just swam off with it. Otter. Oh my gosh. What a tub. That thing is massive. That's gotta be close to 5. That's a big old smallie. Maybe 4.5. That's a big smallmouth. Oh my gosh. 429. Calls out the 264, puts us at 1929. What a bag of fish. And we still have upgrading to do. We're gonna go ahead and let her go. We're gonna get back in there. We have about 45 minutes left. We are coming down to the wire here, but I believe that we can get us another 4-pounder to put us up over 20 pounds here. The other bait that would work very well for this technique is that Texas rig drop shot I just did a video on. You could do the same thing. Like, I can see the edge of the grass right there. All you would do is throw your Ned rig or your drop shot right to the edge of the grass like that. You let it sink down to the bottom. You don't even have to graph over them or look at them with 2D or anything. And you just kind of I got one. I threw it to the edge of the grass and I got one. I told you, it works. It's a giant. I didn't even live scope that fish. I literally just looked at it on the edge of the grass, tossed it right to the edge of the grass and caught this fish. I promise you, you don't need live scope to do this. Some of them, yes, you're gonna catch more if you have live scope, or it's gonna be easier because you can see them swimming around. But I threw it right to the edge of that grass clump. I got like a 3-pounder on here. Right to the edge of the grass. Didn't even live scope it and caught a fish like that. That's just the deal that's going on right now. They like this little Ned rig. They want a very finesse bait. There's no wind, there's no movement. They just want to lay down there and eat very small baits, little emerald shiners, and get fat for the fall and the winter. That's what they're doing. I don't think that fish is gonna help, which is crazy. So we're gonna go ahead and let her go and get back in there. Got that one. Got that one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This might be my PB smallmouth. This thing is huge. Oh my gosh. Look at this smallmouth. Look at the size of this smallmouth. That thing is meat. Oh my gosh. That's gotta be close to 5. Did we get one that breaks 5? 476. Puts us at 2104. 476. Look at that fish. Let's go ahead and let this girl go. We're gonna get back in there and try and catch another. No. Ah. That's gonna do it for today. We did quite the amount of damage today. I had a ton of fun filming today's video. We caught fish on multiple different techniques. We fished everything from 2 foot of water to 22 foot of water, everything in between, grass, docks, rocks. Fall time is all about transition. Make sure you're moving around, following the fish. These fish could be gone tomorrow if the weather changes and they want to move up there shallow or whatever they want to do. Keep an open mind, you'll catch a ton of fish. Keep all these baits at your ready and use them as you need to find the fish where they're at located in the water. And like I said, I will be giving away today's tackle box with all new gear, not the stuff that I used today, as we do with every month's video. So if you want to win, all you have to do is like the video, be a subscriber of the channel, and make sure you comment what the 6th bait you would add for today's fishing would have been. Again, thank you guys so much for your support on this series. It's been a huge hit. I've loved doing them, and I can't wait to do next month's edition as well. If you want to see last month's baits, check this video out right here, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.